In this lesson, we're going to explore yet one more method for altering the shape of a selected object. But this time, we're going to focus in on the corners of that object, and we're going to use a Docker that allows us to manipulate the corners in 3 different ways. So if you were following along with me in the previous lesson, we used the envelope tool to apply an effect to a selected object, in this case our Green Onion Bistro sign, and we used the file named envelopes1.cdr found in the Lesson 10 folder of the exercise files. If you're skipping to this lesson, you can open this file if you've got the exercise files. Don't worry about the fact you won't have an envelope applied to your Green Onion Bistro sign, because we're going right to page 2. Now over here on page 2, we've got our gift certificate. And you can see in the background, we've got this green rectangle. That's the object we're going to focus in on this lesson. So I'm going to click on it and check out my status bar down below to see that this is actually a group of 2 objects on layer 1. Okay, let's see what happens. We'll go up to the window menu, down to Dockers, and the Docker we're looking for allows us to shape the corners of an object by using fillet, scallop, and chamfer settings. So let's give that a click. Opens up our Docker, and I want you to see something very important right off the bat. The operation by default is set up to fillet the corners. That means round them off. The radius is set to 0.5 inches, another default. Look at the apply button though. It's not available to me. Why is that? Well, it just so happens that my rectangle is a part of a group of 2 objects, and none of these options will work on a group. So the first thing I need to do is ungroup them by going up to my property bar, clicking on Group, or Control U on the keyboard. Now I'm going to deselect by clicking outside the selected area and try this again. Click on the green rectangle. Now down below it says Rectangle on Layer 1. And look at that, my Apply button is now available to me. The next thing I'd like to do is just press F4 to zoom in so I can really see the rectangle corners, because again, that's where we want to be focused in with these 3 options here found in the Docker. Let's start with fillet. The radius defaulted to 0.5 inches. When I click apply, let's see what happens. Right away, they are filleted, and you can see they're actually just rounded at each corner using a 0.5 inch radius. If that looks like it's too much, of course that can be adjusted. I'm going to click undo. And we don't have to undo it. We could just make the adjustment here. You can use the down arrow to bring it down, the up arrow to pop it up, or just click and drag over what's there and type in your own value. I'm going to type in 0.35 and click apply. There, that's the effect I was looking for, and it's perfect. All right, but there are 2 other options we need to talk about. So let's click undo again and go over to the operation drop down where we see fillet. I'm going to skip over scallop and go to chamfer. Chamfer, according to the icon, looks like it's just going to cut off the corners. And you can see the distance here set to be 0.5 inches. If we click apply, we'll see what that looks like. Not bad. Of course, we can adjust that if we wanted to using the up and down arrows. I'm going to go down to 0.4, click apply. 1 or more of the edges were too short to chamfer, so please consider reducing the chamfer size, which we did. Now, remember, we're chamfering chamfered corners. So we click OK. You can see what happened here. I'm going to click undo and undo again. And now when I click apply with 0.4, you can see I'm able to do all 4 corners quite easily. All right, let's undo that and go back to the one we're actually going to use in this lesson, and that is the scallop effect. When I click on that, it's really the opposite of the fillet, where I won't have rounded out corners but rounded in corners. And this works perfectly for our gift certificate. 0.5 inches is the default. We can start there. Click apply. And you can see it cuts in. Nice rounded corners in. Like a little scallop. That looks pretty good there, but it's getting too close to this dollar sign. And in fact, it's cutting off one of my dollar signs down here. So I'm going to click undo. And I'm going to come up here and I'm going to take out the 0.5 and put in a 0.3. Click apply and see what happens. That's much better. I'll deselect by clicking outside the selected area to see the end result. And that's what I want to go with. So I close up my Docker, clicking the close button. I'm going to press Shift F4 to see the entire page and the end result of my scallop. And that's one handy Docker when it comes to working with the corners of a selected object. Remember it, fillet, scallop, and chamfer.